All right, so we're going to finish up as far as PowerPoint presentations go of Unit 6 today. We've got quite a bit of practice work we need to do with Unit 6. There may be some short videos put out as far as examples over the next couple of weeks. I think I failed to mention in the ionic compound video what types of elements make those, and that's typically between a metal and a non-metal, right? So an ionic compound typically happens between a metal and a non-metal. And if you think back to the periodic table, which elements are which. So when we name covalent compounds, this chart, you need to remember this. Okay? You need to remember the names for the numbers as far as what prefixes are going to be for the numbers of atoms. Okay, mono, di, tri, tetra, penta, hexa, hepta, octa, nona, and deca. Okay, you need to remember that. So if you want to pause this and put that in your notes, it's extremely important. Right, so when we name covalent compounds are going to consist between two non-metals. Important to remember that too. So if you're going to name a compound in practice that towards the end of the week, and you have a metal and a non-metal, then you don't need to use the prefix number of atoms. You don't need to use di or tri or tetra. Now you'll need to just use the name of the anion or the cation, and then the IDE version of the anion. Okay, so that's the first step in naming things, is deciding, is this between a metal and a metal and a non-metal, or two non-metals. All right, so told you to write down the prefixes and what they stand for. Here's another opportunity. If you didn't get those, feel free, pause, go ahead and get that. Okay, so the prefix is going to stand for the amount of atoms present. And then you'll see what I mean here in a minute. So steps of naming covalent compounds. First, we want to name the first non-metal. So if there is only one atom present, do not use a prefix. If there is more than one atom present, then you must use the correct prefix. So for example, CO2, okay? So if we're going by the table and we name the first one, then you would say, well, it should be monocarbon dioxide. Well, we don't use mono if there's just one carbon or one element to start. So an example of CO2, the name is going to be carbon, because there's just one carbon, 2 oxygen. The number 2 means di, carbon dioxide. Okay, not dioxygen. We're still going to drop the suffix and do IDE. We're just adding a prefix now. Okay. All right. So, and then down here at the bottom, I got ahead of myself. 2 nitrogen. So we just can't say nitrogen here when we're doing covalent compounds. So we are going to say dinitrogen. Okay, because there's two nitrogen. And then 5, if we look at our chart, is penta oxide. Dinitrogen pentaoxide is going to be the name of that compound. I got ahead of myself again, but that's okay. Name the second nonmetal using the correct prefix and an IDE. So an example, okay, go back to the C, so it would be carbon dioxide, dinitrogen pentaoxide, okay? So we'll do a lot of practice with this. All right, so Cl2, okay, Cl2O. If we were naming this, it would be dichlorine monoxide. We use mono for the second atom in the compound because we're naming the prefix of it. It's not dichlorine oxide, it's dichlorine, di meaning 2, monoxide. All right, carbon monoxide, phosphorus trichloride, and carbon tetraiodide. There's a couple of examples. So again, if you want to pause and write these down, feel free. All right, writing molecular formulas. So you have phosphorus trichloride. Phosphorus, so you'll start out with the P or the atomic symbol. Tri means 3. Chlorine, chloride is chlorine, the atomic symbol for chlorine, and then you'll put a 3 after it. So we can go the other way as well, which you'll be asked to do. Trinitrogen, carbon, tetrachloride. That 4 should be up here. And that's going to be where we stop. Again, short video. Feel free to go back and take good notes on the examples, and then we'll start towards the end of the week doing some examples with ionic compounds, and then we'll focus on covalent compounds, and then we'll do a mixed practice so you can see so you can practice being able to pick out the different types of compounds in naming them. If you have questions, please be sure you shoot me a message or a comment or an email, so that way I can help you practice the skill more. Thank you. Have a good day.